Hello and welcome to a special edition of the Nines presented by AT&T. I'm Uber and these are my co-hosts, LCS desk analyst Crumbz, of course, and League insider, podcaster, content creator, Twitch rivals dominator, Locodoco. Thanks for joining us, guys. And of course, joining us today also is C9 Pro League of Legends jungler Blaber. Thank you for joining us, bro. Pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Bro, obviously big news happening lately. You're headed into the off-season though, so tell us, I ask this question all the time in esports actually. I get a pretty similar answer, but what are you up to in the off-season? Is there anything specific, whether it's esports or non-esports related that you're really trying to get done?
Not really. I mean, new patch came out the season.
Yep.
So I've been playing a little bit of that. I went home to see my family. But besides that, I haven't really been doing much, just relaxing and then waiting for our boot camp in Korea.
So let's jump in and get our hands dirty with our first hard-hitting question. You ready for this? How bad is Jack at League of Legends?
How bad is Jack?
Yeah. Or is he bad? We can start from there.
Yeah, he's really bad.
Does he force you to play with him?
No. I
thought it was in the contract.
He's a silver Malzahar main.
Okay.
One trick. And he plays Singe when Singe is meta. But I know he 1v1'd Eric in Braum versus... Eric was like Braum and he was Malzahar and he lost as the Malzahar, so yeah, he's pretty bad.
To be fair, I hear a lot about like LCS managers getting rolled. Didn't you play against Liquid last night?
Oh, so yeah.
They're all one tricks, all the CEOs. They just have nothing but one champion.
So I did play against Steve last night. Steve invited me to play a game with him, right? And then I was like, sure. And then he ghosted me. And so I just played with my friends. And we met up in normals. And he was on the enemy team. So I just roamed top all day. And he ended up being 1-18 on Castle.
Okay, yeah, I did see he was tilted because I saw the end game screen and he had Warmogs on Casio. So he was just kind of checked out. Well, fair enough. Hey, look, you mentioned you're playing a bit of the new patch right now and obviously big changes. So let's talk about that. What are your thoughts on the new preseason changes?
Well, I mean, I personally don't like it because they just nerf jungle XP in gold. I mean, they nerf jungle like every season, so it's kind of annoying. But it feels really weird because I can't like level up as fast.
Gotcha.
And then, I mean, I think I'm just ganking more. I don't really know like too much. I haven't played that much, but I just know I'm getting a lot of less experience.
So does this promote you to fight more earlier in the game?
Yeah, because before it was only gank.
Yeah.
Now are you just farming?
Well, your camps come up a lot faster, or not a lot, but they come up faster. So a lot of the passes that you would do before, where like you just full clear, go to your Krugs, and then maybe you can fit in one gank. Now you can't really do that. Otherwise, if you're trying to like full clear your camps, but I think you should just ignore your Krugs. Like, I never do those anymore, and I just gank, and I only do my Gromp.
Okay.
Gromp's just OP to me, it seems. So that's what I have so far from the game. And then I guess regarding the dragons, like the Infernal Dragon like shakes my screen. So like a lot of, so like I'm like fighting and then my screen just shakes when Infernal spawns and then I don't know, it kind of confuses me.
I heard they're calling it the Instagram filter now every time a dragon shows up.
Yeah, like the entire map just changes. Although I like Ocean.
Yeah, that's like, like lo-fi beats to study and chill to mode on the Rift, you know what I mean? I was playing Captain Flowers, he's like, it's so soothing, it's raining, and then he goes and just rips someone else's shreds on Skarner. I'm like, yeah, okay. Fair enough, bro.
Let's go back in time a little bit. Let's talk about Worlds. So you actually had a chance to play at Worlds. How was that experience?
Playing at Worlds was really nice. Scrimming like with the team versus other top tier junglers was really good. I learned a lot. And playing on stage, obviously, I got to play versus Tarzan and Yinkos. So I felt like I got a lot of experience from that. I mean, I wasn't able to really win, but it felt pretty good.
How was it compared to the first time you played? I remember you went in your first year to Worlds with C9 and you played a little bit and then you got benched for Svenskeren. So what was the difference between that year and this year?
I think I was a lot worse in 2018 when I went to Worlds. I wasn't very confident in my skills. I mean, I made it to Worlds, so like, I thought I would do fine, but I wasn't performing well in play-ins or anything. And then, I mean, obviously I was performing worse in scrims, that's why I got benched. But I felt like I was performing pretty well this year, and I didn't really feel like anyone there I couldn't be just as good as in the future, or like they were pressuring me too hard. So it definitely felt really good for me.
So you obviously feel like you grew a lot between those two outings at Worlds.
Yeah.
What did, obviously having been part of the team for both of those outings and your takeaways from this year, like what do you think you guys sort of learned as a team at this most recent Worlds? If you could sort of pinpoint a couple overarching ideas.
I don't know. This Worlds was really rough for our team, just in general. We didn't have the best showing, and we weren't doing too well in scrims in general. So it was kind of tough, like for us. And I mean, we weren't really happy in Europe. Like we didn't like Berlin that much.
Sure.
So
what's wrong with Berlin?
I mean, we just didn't like the food, and I don't know. SoloQ was kind of tilting everyone, I guess. And also combined with the fact that we weren't winning scrims very much, so it just wasn't like the best atmosphere. But I definitely think, I mean, I learned a lot just playing against the other junglers, and just trying my best, I guess.
Can I ask about the SoloQ? So EU SoloQ is supposed to be way better than North America on level of Korean SoloQ. What was so bad about it?
I think, just like how I think it is, there are a lot of pros at EU SoloQ, because obviously Worlds, so like that helped it be better, but I feel like without them there, it would be a lot worse. It kind of seems like they play a lot like Korean SoloQ, but their mechanics just aren't as good. Like the average player in EU, to me, is not very good. It's kind of like the average player in NA, but they fight a lot more, obviously, so I think that's better for mechanics. Whereas I think the average player in Korea is like a lot better, whereas EU is like more high-end, like G2, Fnatic. Like the high-end players are a lot better.
You probably get asked this a fair bit. I guess now, obviously, you know, having played SoloQ in multiple regions, you've got a kind of feel of it. So what is then your tips to people as they're trying to grind their way through? What are some things that you see that maybe some SoloQ players don't quite get, or you don't think that they're, I guess, quite capitalizing on to sort of climb?
I guess, I mean, for jungle specifically, it feels like to me a lot of junglers are KDA players.
Yep.
They don't really know, they don't even like path properly or like cast their spells on the camps properly, which to me sounds dumb, right? But it's like, you're a high elo jungler, you should be able to clear your camps efficiently, and you should like know what's the most efficient way to get experience, which a lot of people are missing. And they also seem kind of scared to, if they're in like a pressure matchup, for example, like they're stronger than the enemy jungler, they need to invade. Like usually they don't do that. They just like evenly farm, and then, you know, they don't.
Is that something that you just picked up from playing thousands of games, or that you know exactly, okay, this is a matchup that I immediately know how to win? Because you're known for being the player that will just see the kill, go for it, and then just really start pressuring the opponent. Is that how you're also playing SoloQ?
Yeah, I mean, I play the SoloQ the same way. I mean, a lot more, like, I have played with a lot more risks in SoloQ, whereas, like, in competitive, I play, that's like me playing back.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah,
okay.
But at least for me, when I was getting good, I'd say in Season 6, there was a player that I really liked. I was Sven Skaren, and I would Q snipe him, and then he would take my OP every game. But I feel like I learned a lot from him just beating me and pressuring me, because I didn't really feel like I was getting pressured by anyone else, or not anyone else, but like him mainly in Season 6. So I felt like I learned a lot from what he did, and I took what he did and applied it to other players.
So you felt like did you feel like you modeled your jungling after Sven Skaren in that way, or did you feel that you guys were quite different?
Well, at the time we were quite different. I mean, I was just bad and he was good.
Sure.
So yeah, but he's definitely someone that, I mean, I've played with him now for a year and a half.
Yep.
So we definitely play pretty similar, I'd say. Obviously, like I'm a bit more aggressive in the way I play.
Sure.
But yeah, definitely someone I've like try to play with.
So you've gone up against like a ton of junglers, like a ton of top level junglers. Who would you say is a jungler you've gone up against that you feel like has just got a completely different style to you? Maybe it was like a hard matchup to figure out, or it was a little bit hard to understand how they played the game, or gave you, a ton of trouble. Do you think that there were any junglers you've encountered that are like that at the top level?
I don't know. I wouldn't say anyone I've encountered has actually given me trouble. There are obviously junglers that have different playstyles.
Sure.
I guess the two that come to my mind, like the easiest, were Canyon and Tarzan. At least when I was playing versus them. I never scrimmed versus Tarzan because he was in my group, but
Sure.
when I played versus him on stage, he just seems like he knows where to be. He's more reserved. He doesn't like make like super aggressive plays, but like he always knows what he's doing. And then Canyon, I don't know, when I scrimmed versus him, he seemed like the best jungler that I scrimmed versus. Just like the way he was pressuring me and then my teammates. So I definitely felt like the different playstyles between the two Korean junglers.
Is that a big difference from the junglers you play versus North America?
You know the answer to that.
I do, but the public doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like he's a lot more aggressive. He plays a lot more with his team, too, like with their aggression. Someone who actually plays really well with their team is Tien. I mean, he always moves with his team. Like, I swear they draft for level 1 to, like, screw you over. But it's so hard to jungle versus FPX, because, like, I know one game we were scrimming versus them, and LWX was solo killing Dennis at his blue buff. Just him, and then he just died for it randomly, but Dennis started blue like 40 seconds late, and they just do it on purpose just to screw over the jungler, so it feels really hard.
Do you think that is the meta, the whole team helping junglers? Because it used to be the jungler is more of like a servant role, like a secondary support role, and you're helping the lanes. Do you think it's swapped where helping the jungler is now more important?
I think helping jungler is pretty important, because when you're ahead in jungle, it lets you invade. I mean, obviously you can't like place wards like before anymore, because they got rid of the warding trinket, or the warding jungle item. But dragons and herald right now are like pretty important, and when your jungler's ahead, it allows you like to fight for that easier.
So does that mean like you talked about how you find that this patch or the preseason change was a bit different to the junglers. Do you feel like that is going to make junglers have to be more high econ and get more of those resources from their team? Or it's just going to be harder out there in general for junglers?
I don't think you're going to need to get more resources. I feel like resource-wise, I mean, it's going to be the same. Usually what happens for junglers is like early game, you take your camps, and then mid game, it's just like, everyone takes your camp. Like you're just chilling.
Yeah, mid laner rolls through. Thanks, Raptors. Cheers.
I've seen the XP gank can be pretty bad if you get invaded and then you just get 3 buffed or lose a few camps early, and then you just never be able to catch back up because you can't get the gank, and then you're waiting on the camps to spawn.
I think it's a lot more important to not get screwed over now in the early game, because they got rid of catch-up experience in this season. So it's pretty important for your jungler to not be like a minion in the game.
Like a melee, So it's more punishing now.
Yeah, it's more punishing if the enemy jungler like takes everything from you, you know? So you would need to, I mean, be protected in the early game for like your junglers like Kiana. Like I'm literally useless level 1. If I like lose all my camps, I can't play.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about that the new C9 roster. Have you guys had a chance to scrim together, practice together at all?
I haven't even seen one of my members. So yeah, I know Sven and Vulcan are in Korea right now. They're duo queuing.
Why aren't you there?
Why am I not there?
Here.
Well, I'm here, and yeah, I'm kind of like last time I went to Korea for too long, and I was a little burnt out, I guess, towards the end. So I'm kind of just like trying to relax, because I mean, spring isn't really as important, and assuming like C9 always makes worlds, right? So if our season's going to be long, I don't really want to be burnt out. So yeah, I mean, last time I went, like the last week was literally useless for me. I was just not doing anything. I mean, no one was doing anything.
So funnily enough, C9 ended up with 2 Scouting Ground players starting in the roster, you and Vulcan. Do you remember playing with Vulcan way back in Scouting Grounds?
Yeah, I actually do. Actually, when I found out he was getting picked up, I actually messaged him with the Team Ocean picture of it. So yeah, I definitely remember playing with them. I mean, my Scouting Grounds team was kind of stacked, in my opinion, for like Scouting Grounds purposes.
Who'd you guys have? I don't even remember.
It was me, Vulcan, Prismal, Palafox, and Kaizen, or Max Waldo. I don't remember what he went by back then. I think it was Kaizen.
Is Kaizen starting? Because the other 4 names you mentioned are either in Academy or in LCS.
I think Kaizen is in Korea with LS.
Oh, he's that Max Waldo. Okay.
I think he's with them in Korea. I don't know much, like what's going on with him. I haven't really kept in touch, so.
Have you followed the Scouting Ground players this season? Is there anyone that you would say, like, oh, I see the same potential that my former team had?
Not really. I mean, from my perspective, I think Scouting Ground seems like it's getting worse every year. Just because, like, at least in my year and the year before, it was like pretty much all rookies, new players, and like now it's just more and more veterans playing in Scouting Grounds, which like
they were some of the worst players at the Scouting Ground.
Yeah, like, but I mean, they're just coming to the Scouting Grounds, and I mean, like Fanatic, for example, I think he played really well at Scouting Grounds, but he's not a new player either. He's played Academy for a year now, I believe, and he went to Scouting Grounds my year too.
So that was back in 2017 that you played in Scouting Grounds, initially with Vulcan. When you were there, like, did it occur to you how sort of direct a pathway that could potentially have been into Cloud9? Like, did you feel like you're on the precipice of something, or was it just sort of like anyone else trying to get that exposure and trying to get that opportunity?
Like for me, did I think I was going to be on?
Yeah, like did you think it would happen, I guess, as quickly as it had from Scouting Grounds?
No, actually, I kind of went to scouting grounds knowing I wasn't going to play in the split after, on the spring split, because I still hadn't finished school. And I mean, my parents wanted me, and I did too. I wanted to finish high school. So I knew I wasn't going to be playing in spring. So, I mean, I was happy C9 drafted me. I didn't expect to play for them.
Sure.
But yeah, it ended up, I mean, obviously being super good for me.
Yeah. it's pretty safe to say. So what do you think? What did you think of Vulcan back then? Because you play with him, obviously. Like, do you think is there any carryover? Like, do you think you guys are different players to the way you were? Like, does that impact you at all when you think about playing with him now, like on C9?
Not really. I mean, I thought he was good back then too.
Yeah.
Obviously, out of all the Skyward sports, I thought he was the best by far at the time too. So, and obviously, I think we both got a lot better over the last 2 years since Scouting Grounds. So, I mean, I'm excited to play with him again.
So, due to Twitch Rivals and Scouting Grounds, which just ended, there's a lot of rookie players coming into Academy or that didn't make it. Would you have any kind of advice for them for the ones that made it onto Academy teams and for the ones that didn't?
Yeah. I guess advice for people who didn't make it on Academy teams. SoloQ matters a lot, like a lot more than people actually think that it matters. If I hit like rank 1, for example, on like an account, like people are gonna tell their teams. Like that's how you get on teams. Pros will tell their teams that they think this SoloQ player is good. And that's like the easiest way to get noticed. That's like Johnson, for example. A lot of people tell their teams that they think this guy's good, right? That's why he has a lot of hype around him. So I think climbing SoloQ is really important. Trolling or griefing like pro players, like it doesn't look good for you. They don't want to play with you, you know? And then for people in Academy, I guess, I mean, for me, I was always scrimming with the LCS team too. Not always, but like I had a lot of opportunities to, and I think I got really lucky with that regard. But I think you just focus on yourself, listen to the veterans on your team, not like strictly listen to them, but they generally know more than you just because they've been playing. So
if that's how you stand out in SoloQ, how do you stand out in Reapered's Mind Palace? How do you get him to say, all right, it's my time to get
What's it like being coached by the guy? He's quite enigmatic, a figure in League.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know why he subs me in or why he subs Dennis out.
There's no reason.
You guys don't know at all. You guys are just randomly told.
It's like, yeah, I mean, so like, obviously if you're scrimming, right, then there's a chance you're going to play. If you're not scrimming, you're not going to play. But me and Dennis were sharing time pretty much all of summer. So I got a lot of time with the LCS team. I only played 4 of the 18 games, but I was scrimming half the time. And generally, he tells you on Friday before the Saturday match if you're playing on Saturday, and then Saturday before the Sunday match if you're playing on Sunday.
Is that intentional? It's like to sort of not give you much time?
I don't know.
What's the shortest amount of time you were given before you played?
He told me once at like 2 a.m. He just walked into my room and he was like, "You're playing tomorrow." Even though he like submitted the draft, submitted that I was playing, obviously at like 8 or 10 because he had to. And then he tells me like at like 2 a.m. while I'm just chilling in my room.
Also, going back to Academy a little, there's been a whole meme about Academy player egos. Players that make it onto Academy teams have massive egos. They talk about it in SoloQ. They talk about it on Twitter. Is that a real thing?
It's pretty true. I'd say like 90% of them are just bad, but they have egos just because other players are also bad. So they're just like the better bad player, if that makes sense. From SoloQ, it's pretty easy to just like beat up some like random SoloQ players, right? But I definitely think it's way different playing in Academy than SoloQ. The players are better. Like people you might think are bad in SoloQ, like I mean Smithy, he's a really good player, but like he's not very good in SoloQ, right? Doesn't really climb. So it's something that you just have to experience for yourself, and then you kind of get humbled a bit when you get shit on.
I'm surprised you never developed an ego because you went from Scouting Ground to Academy to LCS so fast, and you made it to Worlds. Like you were taking games off the top tier team all the way to Worlds. So yeah, what happened to you?
I mean, I've always been confident in my gameplay. Like I've always thought that I was good and like better than other players. I feel like that's something you need. Otherwise, you just kind of you get nervous against someone you think's better than you, or like you just play bad. But Zazel actually always put me down. Not put me down, but like he was like a good friend of mine. We would always play together, and he'd always just tell me like every time he thinks I'm starting to get an ego, he'd just tell me like,
just take you down a peg.
He's like, "Dude, you suck." Not like those words, but like you know.
That's a good friend.
Yeah,
you need somebody to keep you grounded.
Yeah. So I don't really say he helped me a lot. Also playing like I played Academy with Jensen, Sneaky, and Smoothie. Like I'm not really gonna get an ego from that. They're like, I'm gonna do what they tell me to do at the time when I first joined. So
you're in a position now where like you're looking over the balcony of Reaper's Mind Palace, right? Like everything the light touches is your kingdom. You're seeing a bunch of other teams that you're going to be going up against, next split that are making changes as well. A lot of shuffles are happening in the LCS. What were the big standouts to you? Like, what were the best, do you think, or what were the weirdest? Like, what were the moves that I guess you took most notice of personally? Maybe because you might be going up against them or anything like that.
I mean, I think the best move this offseason in an NA team was EG. I mean, they picked up an insane roster for their first split, I'd say. It seems like they have the money to do it. So, I mean, I think they'll come out swinging in the LCS. They got Bang, Zeyzal, Kumo, and Sven now, I think. They haven't announced their mid laner. I'm assuming it's going to be an import. So I feel like they'll be pretty good. I did not expect 100 Thieves to pick up Ryoma. That seemed really...
Do you even know who Ryoma was?
No, that seemed really out of the blue. I mean, I don't really know him, so I can't say anything good or bad. But it seems kind of
Australian
random.
League of Legends veteran. I won't hear any negatives about that guy.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems kind of random to me.
I mean, teams are picking up Oceanic players this year all of a sudden. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not.
I mean, there have been Oceanic players, like FBI lost.
That's true. Yeah, Keen was there before as well.
Fire's coming too.
Churnfire.
Yeah.
Yeah, he destroyed my team so many times.
And also from Turkish League too. So my guess is there's going to be
closer.
Yeah. There's going to be a rule change regarding minor region imports. It's already implemented for Academy. So I'm guessing for the future, it's going to be implemented for LCS also. Or these pickups don't really make sense.
Where is the NA talent, though?
We'll talk about that later.
Well, I mean,
Well, Belter doesn't even find a team.
That's
I'm not surprised.
that hurts me.
Yeah, that was surprising. Actually, that was surprising for sure.
I'm not surprised we're seeing some of these teams sort of from smaller regions, though, start to try and get over, because I know they've actually cut minimum salaries in these minor regions quite significantly recently, especially Oceania. They just got slammed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like they're making much less like at minimum right now. So people have to get a bit creative out there to try and make the money happen. But it's time now for you guys in the Cloud crowd. That's what we're calling you, to win some Puma gear. All you need to do is type in chat, who do you think is the current best LCS team going into the 2020 season, and use the hashtag Puma. You may get favoritism if you put in C9, but we're looking for a bit of an academic back and forth. But you have to be 18 years of age or older to live in North America, and live in North America to win. Bonus points for C9, maybe, but again, I'd like some dissenting voices. Blaber, do you still think that Liquid is going to be the team to be? You brought up EG. Do you think that they've toppled the hierarchy at all, or is Liquid still?
I mean, no. I mean, Liquid's still the team to beat.
Yeah.
So you believe in Broxa over Xmithy. What's your take on that move?
Oh, what do I think? I mean, I actually don't. I think Brox is good, but I don't really think it's going to be that much of an upgrade. I don't know how much they think it's an upgrade. TL, because I mean, they did the move. Maybe Xmithy didn't want to resign. I don't actually know. But I mean, TL's won 4 splits in a row, and I would not say Brox is a downgrade from Xmithy. So I feel like they're still the team to be like, you got to beat them to win the championship.
Different player though, right, to Xmithy in his style.
Yeah.
I think was one of the things we talked about most about him.
Yeah, very different in style where, I mean, you can describe it better because you actually get to play versus them.
Yeah, I mean, I think Brox he's a lot more aggressive, and he also plays more aggressive type champs than Xmithy. Just like the Elise. I mean, they both play Lee Sin, but I got a scrim versus Xmithy a bit I got a scrim versus both of them a bit at Worlds, and I know we had a lot harder time. It was much harder time versus Fnatic than TL, just because, I mean, maybe Fnatic's team was better, but it felt like, to me, they were pretty similar skill-wise, but Broxton felt like he was pressuring more. Xmithy seemed like he was more moving the map.
Have you noticed that all the top-tier junglers, pretty much across the world, they all play Lee Sin?
Yeah.
It's like you can, every year, the same thing. If you're not playing Lee Sin, you're probably not a top-tier jungler.
Why is this though?
Yeah, why? Well, I think it's because he's a sick champion in team play. No mana.
Yeah. Super flexible. Can make plays as well with his ulti, reposition people.
Like Tian with the multi-kicks every single time. It's just unreal.
I mean, Lee just seems like a champ that's always meta. Not always, but like generally every year, some point Lee comes back in a meta. Like this Worlds, he got buffed. It wasn't that big of a buff, but it was still a buff. So it's just like a champ that I guess you need to know how to play. Like for me, I wouldn't say I'm super great at Lee, but like it's still like one of my most played champs like of all time. I think it's up there with like Rek'Sai. So it's just a champ you have to put a lot of time into to be the best. And I don't know if it's like true for other people, but when I drop Lee and I pick it up again, it's not to me like other champs where like I can play a couple games and I feel comfortable on it again. I have to play like a lot of SoloQ games before I feel comfortable on it again.
Does the ping really affect you?
Yeah. NA ping is really bad for Lee.
So we talked about it earlier. Vulcan and Zben are already in Korea practicing. What does the off-season schedule look like for rest of C9?
So we're kind of chilling until December 26th when the entire LCS team goes to boot camp in Korea. So actually they're going to be there for a while. I think they're coming back for Christmas, but after Christmas we're going to be boot camping until I believe the 19th or 20th, and then LCS starts in like 5 days. So
Jet lag.
yeah.
Nice.
So I mean I'm excited. I like going to Korea. I like the SoloQ, and I like scrimming the teams there. So
Do you like the food there?
yeah, I like the food there.
Do you
A little
look forward
different to Berlin food, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a bit
not quite the
different.
same.
Do you look forward to the boot camp every year?
Yeah, the apartments that we have are actually really nice. I mean, I've never been on any other team, but I think the C9 apartments are really smurf, and I mean, I love
Do you
living
guys
there.
own apartments there?
Yeah, we own 2 apartments there. I believe one of them are being used by Spitfire right now, so we'll be using the other one.
Wow, so you guys just have like a training facility there. So just Korean boot camp whenever you guys want.
Yeah, actually, I think Sneaky was staying there for a bit earlier.
Have you guys as a team, especially since these changes have been made, have you had a chance to like, what are our goals and expectations for 2020? Like, because like if I asked you like, what are you guys hoping to do next year? Obviously, it's like we want to win this split, we want to go to Worlds. Like, but have you had a chance to sit down as a team or with management and talk about like some of the goals that make up that overall vision?
Not everyone together. Like I said, I actually have not even seen Sven. And Vulcan came for like 2 or 3 days before he flew to Korea. So we really haven't discussed it. I know we want Balling to have synergy. That's why they're going early. Because, I mean, they're the new members of the team. But I do believe when we go to Korea, we'll be talking about it more. And, I mean, we want to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just always curious as to like what, every team sort of says that, but what makes it up? Like if there are like milestones and steps, and maybe we'll find that out from down the track. But I'm very curious to see what the coaching staff for Reapered, has planned for that.
Out of all your teammates, old and new, who are you most excited for in 2020? Who do you think will pop off?
I think we'll pop off. I'm hoping it's Niski. He didn't have the best world showing. I give him shit for it. So I'm hoping he smurfs, plays really well. And I mean, I'm excited to play with him. So.
What are your thoughts on Zben? Because he didn't look the hottest from TSM, but coming in, Jack has talked about TSM as the talent suppression machine. Do you think we're going to see a different side to Zben in 2020?
I've always thought Zven's really good. Playing against him in scrims and playing against him in SoloQ, to me, his mechanics are still there. He still seems really insane. So I don't know what went wrong on TSM, but
You guys are going to fix it.
I guess we're going to fix it, yeah. We're going to have to.
No more Ezra. That's that easy.
Well, I mean, that leads us to the next question. Like, you know, you mentioned in your play, like as you go up against junglers and you did in Worlds, you didn't really feel like there was anyone that had your number or that you went into any matchup feeling like you would lose. Are there any things that you particularly in your play want to try and sort of improve on or develop, heading into the next season? Like if you can look back at the last year and see a couple of points, are there any big changes you're trying to make in your style?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I want to keep my early game aggression because I think that's something I'm doing really well. But I like to die a lot mid-game for no reason. I just get impatient, I'd say, on like the steps of taking vision or rotating, and I try to do it by myself. Because I'm just not that patient of a person. So I try to do it myself, and that's something I've been trying to work on, not randomly dying. So definitely something that I want to fix.
How do you think you'll fare against Sven Skaren?
Actually, he's the one player that I swear I have a mental block or something. I don't know. Whenever we do in-house scrims, he'd beat me. So I'm hoping to get over it, and I'm hoping to beat him because I mean we're gonna have to win. So.
Right. The mind games.
So those in our audience may not know, but you used to play badminton competitively. Do you still hit the shuttlecock every now and then? Still go out for a bash?
I recently played like maybe 6 months or a year ago. Is that me?
Oh, we got footage?
Oh my God.
Okay, cool.
Oh, you play singles. Nice.
Yeah, I only play singles, and I haven't played in a while. I used to play for like 10 years, but I got bored, and then now I'm playing League. So I haven't played in a while. I'm like really out of shape, trying to get back in shape.
It is bloody exhausting. On the times that I've watched it or tried to play it, I've just been boomed after like the first 5 minutes.
Is there any similarities in playing competitive badminton to competitive league that you're like, this is a skill?
God.
No, like a mental skill. I don't know.
Yeah, I was really impatient in badminton too. I think it's everything I do in life, I guess. But if I wasn't like winning or like, I would always end up making a mistake because I would try to push myself too hard or like try to win the point too fast, and then I end up losing it. So.
Yeah, so there's a mental allegory in
Yeah.
there. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, especially in a 1v1 sport as well.
Yeah.
You think about how you go up against your opposition jungler. Before we go, where can the fans find you out there on the World Wide Web, on your social channels? Where you at?
They can find me on Twitter. I think I'm twitter.com/Blaber. And then on Instagram, I'm C9Blaber, I think.
Better get those social media ones memorized. Yep.
Yeah, I don't use my Instagram as much. Maybe I'll start using it more this coming season, but you can follow me on Twitter.
Well, that's it for us and the special edition of the Nines presented by AT&T. Thanks so much, Blaber, for joining us. We'll be back next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with a live year-end countdown for the 9 biggest moments in 2019 esports and things sort of related. You won't want to miss it, so make sure to follow Cloud9's Twitch channel. I'm going to follow this camera because it's getting away from me here in their socials. I'm Uber, that's Crumbz, and that's Locodoco. Thanks for watching and good night.